To choose which chemical reaction would be best for our car, we researched 5 chemical reactions that could work. Of these 5 reactions, we decided that baking soda plus vinegar would be the best reaction for our car. We chose this because baking soda has lots of advantages and only one disadvantage. Baking soda plus vinegar was simple to get, safe, and would be able to power our car far enough. Vinegar, which was our acid, had a rating of 2.5 to 3 on the pH scale, which is relatively strong and would have enough power to propel our car. We're using baking soda as our base, as it reacts very well with vinegar and forms carbon dioxide plus salt and water, since this is an acid plus carbonate reaction. Baking soda is a weak base of 8.4 on the pH scale, but can be propelled by strong vinegar. We started to brainstorm ideas that we could use for our vehicle. For the wheels, we had milk lids, Lego wheels, or washers. All of the wheels that we were going to use would have rubber bands on them that would be able to reduce friction and make our car travel faster and further. For our bottle sizes, we tried to find the best bottle that would be light and be able to travel far. We came up with 1 litre bottle, 600ml bottle, 750ml bottle, and a 1.25 litre bottle. Next, we did the wheel rods. We came up with straws, pipe cleaners, and skewers. Either the pipe cleaners or skewers would be used that would go through the straw and connect to the wheels. The wheels and skewers would be connected by either tape, Velcro straps, or glue. For our model, we decided to use a 600ml bottle because it would be light and be able to travel fast and far. We decided to use 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of vinegar. The baking soda would be wrapped inside of a tissue, placed inside the bottle first, and then the vinegar would be added. We would close the lid, which would have a little hole in it, which we would place our thumb over to stop the gas being released and moving the car. Once we had shaken it enough, we would then remove our thumb and the car would move. The skewers and the straws would be connected to the wheels by blue tape. We also had a paper cone on the end of our vehicle, which would make it more aerodynamic and travel faster and further. Started to conduct some preliminary trials. First with a balloon using 20 ml of vinegar and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. The next one we did was with 40 ml of vinegar and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Both of these did not work and the balloon had just a small expansion. We then did some tests with our actual car. For the first one we used 1 cup of vinegar and half a cup of baking soda. This one travelled very far, but it also consumed lots of fuel. For the next one, we used half a cup of vinegar and half a cup of baking soda. This one travelled not as far, but it also used less fuel, which was better. After the preliminary trials, we finally started conducting our actual trials. For trial number 1, we used 2.5 tablespoons of baking soda plus 50 ml of vinegar. As you can see, the car did not move at all and the carbon dioxide was released in a quick burst. For our second trial, we used 2.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 100 ml of vinegar.
Put that shit in. Jack, you have to keep your thumb as that's already reacting.
This time on trial number 2, the car actually moved and it travelled 2 meters because of the longer burst and the more vinegar that we had. For trial 3, we used 2.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 120 ml of vinegar. As you can see from trial number 3, this car did not move very far and it travelled in a bouncy sort of motion, and it also had a quick burst. After doing those 3 trials, we decided that something was wrong and that we needed to make changes. So we decided to take away the tissue as it seemed to be blocking the hole and stopping the gas from releasing. We've also taken away the paper cone as it seems to be adding more weight and is not being very aerodynamic. We also changed our original quantities to 100 ml of vinegar and 2.5 tablespoons of baking soda, as well as changing the bottle to 1 litre. However, after making these changes, the bottle still did not work and it still did not move, so I decided to make a new one. For trials 4, 5 and 6, we used the same quantities, which was 100 ml of vinegar plus 2.5 teaspoons of baking soda, since these quantities were the ones that made our car move.
Unfortunate, Jake.
As you can see, this trial was not successful, as the burst was much slower and less powerful. For trial number 5, the car travelled around 70 centimetres due to a more powerful and longer burst.
It worked.
For trial 6, the car travelled around 80 centimetres with a quick burst that was also very weak. In conclusion, our car was a little bit inconsistent, with sometimes it would travel and sometimes it would not move at all. The furthest distance our car travelled was 2 metres, which was very successful. For next time, we would use a 600 ml bottle in the same quantities but without the tissue so that we could get a quicker reaction time and have more power in our car.